We are under attack. Goldnote is coming to get you. Il suono italiano. Vai! Okay guys, now first of all, I want to say I'm sorry I disappeared for a few weeks. I had a problem with my knees, which unfortunately happens every once in a while, so I had to stay in bed. I couldn't be with you guys, but now we're back with an incredible piece of gear, which I want to present here today. I'm sure all of you have heard about, who's a little bit into hi-fi clearly, the PH-10 by Goldnote. It was a huge, massive hit of a few years ago, which is still going. It's been updated. And clearly, they expanded greatly, hugely. I mean, now Goldnote is one of the main hi-fi producers in Italy. And want to know what? I live just a few kilometers from them. In fact, I always wanted to go and take a visit, take a tour, talk with them, see their line of production, what they're doing. And I received an email from them asking to do this. Fantastic, incredible. So I went there, I took a nice tour. In fact, I took even some shots, some video recording, a little bit of information. In fact, I want to share this with you, and then we'll try to understand a little bit better the subject of this video, okay? The phono preamp and its amazing power supply unit. Are you ready? Let's start. Okay, here we are at Goldnote. For those of you who are not interested in a tour, you can skip it. I put an index in the video. This is the real instrument from which the logo derives, and let's start.
Okay, so I am Boris Turner, the Director of Operations of Goldnote. I'm just going to explain a little bit how production works. This is actually the production department. We call them also as a lab, and here is basically where we actually do the manufacturing of all the electronic devices, turntables, and also speakers, and other accessories, cables, etc. So all the operations happens here. And it all starts from there, which is Chiara. Chiara is the planning person, so she plans all the production and she designs who does what, basically. And then from here, this side right here is actually the workstations for electronics.
Okay.
Production basically has been transformed from a current state to a future state. The future state using lean manufacturing methodologies. So basically we did projects to transform this to reduce all the waste that there was in the process. So it's more efficient. We can basically increase the capacity of production. We discovered that basically between 15 to 20% of the efficiency came from building a kitting card, because before they used to have it all under there, all mixed. So they would they used to take about 20 to 25 minutes just to sort out all the materials and then put it back again down under the workstation. So over here you have all the components separated, so they actually know where they are, and they can start building them one by one on top of the table here, from the carcass to installing or assembling all the components on top. And then you have all the consumables, which are actually organized by groups, so screws, bolts, etc. And then you have all the tools also separated according to the process. And then on here on the left side, we have the testing side. So here's all the audio card, all the cables here too, and the computer. And they actually do the testing right here to make sure that the devices are actually working.
Okay.
And then after process step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, and then step number 4, it's actually the burning card. which this one
Fantastic.
we go between 2 to 4 hours. We turn it on, and in that way the device actually gets sunburned brand new, so it doesn't go just fresh. And this actually helps as well to know if there is any issues. If they don't present any issues, and then the machine is good to go. In lean manufacturing, also you actually make sure that you don't lose time in anything. Waiting time is it's a huge thing in manufacturing, which a lot of places happens. So instead of going to that closet over there and refilling it and not knowing where the screws are, we actually give it an address over there, and the address is over here too. So now when it gets empty, you just go to that location. You go to F6 or you go to D5, etc.
Clever.
You just can find it really fast. So that way you minimize your time.
Optimizing, yeah.
Yeah. This is the workstation for the turntables. Here's also a kitting card. It's actually pretty similar to the other one. It's been built so it doesn't actually scratch. So we tested that this material doesn't scratch the tables of the turntable. And we did it in terms of increasing capacity of how many turntables we can actually put in one kitting card. So he can have basically one full day of work in this kitting card. Same thing over there. Minimum that fits in there, it's 1 day full of work. It fits actually a little bit more. This one is a day, maybe a day and a half, depending on the materials that gets filled in. Yeah. And same concept. It's separated, all the components, and then gets here and he knows exactly where all the components are. In that way, he can build, he doesn't have to separate all the materials. So here we have it individualized. So we have every single person in production. They have a graph, and we can see how they are efficient. Basically, when it's red, it means that they are not efficient. There is a justification. We go there, we go find out what's going on, and then we take action according to whatever is happening. And then the performance colectivo is the collective one, so it's everybody together. This is how many products we do daily, and these are the averages. The performance right now is 76. Total production as of units is 327. There is an average of 17 units per day, and then the testing is actually cartridges. So you have a little bit of history here of what's going on throughout the month.
So you can assure me that nobody is going to get hurt if they go in red.
Yes, I can assure you.
Okay.
I then proceeded the tour with the director of marketing and engineer, Tom Dolphy, who brought me below, underneath, where they have all the different components which follow the lean processing methodologies. Here you can see a few components. Everything is perfectly organized all the way down to the packaging and shipping. Fantastic. And then I could also hear their listening room, a few records together. Very, very cool. Okay, guys, as you have seen, the lean manufacturing process is the key concept here, the philosophy behind everything. I was completely shocked. I must admit that I did not know anything about it. I'm sure a lot of companies do this. It is, in fact, the secret behind the Japanese success back after the Second World War, how they optimized everything, and they transferred this also in their job, in their work, in their chain of production. And this is what they're doing in goldnote, as you have seen, with just a few details. But trust me, I went all over the place. They illustrated everything to me. I was overwhelmed by the accuracy, the attention, the details, the carefulness to every single little aspect, with a complete respect of the people working there and the customer. Love it. That's why they're achieving this top-notch quality, this top-notch, I would say, distribution and renowned name in such a brief time, because it's not that old. I'll put it here, the date, the year when they started, when Maurizio Aterini founded Goldnote. Okay, so let's jump in now and take a look at the core of this video, the PH-1000. Light, yes. Now here I'm going to put the main specs, although I'm going to discuss of other important things from now on in the video. Clear, you're going to find all the links in the video description here below, as always, including the one to Goldnote. Disclaimer, I have no affiliation clearly with them. I have no benefit. They didn't give me anything. I'm just doing this for the sake. In fact, I'm going to say the good and the bad of the babies at the end of the video. Okay, so this is important to say that this product is 100% made in Italy, like the majority of their stuff. I went through the labs. I discussed with Tom, with other engineers there. They're doing an amazing work, and there's lots of new stuff about to come out. This was recently released around March of this year, if I don't go wrong. In any case, they have a lot of surprises coming up. The PH-1000 actually comes in 3 different models. The line model, the most expensive, which goes around 14.5 thousand euro. Now that's a lot. It's also preamp. It has a lot of functions. It's something different, I would say. Nevertheless, it's the top of the line of this type, of this model, okay? Then we have the normal PH-1000, which is still pretty expensive, coming at 10.9 thousand euro. When I say euro, just add more or less 1,000 to have the price in dollars. And then there is this model. I wanted actually this model, the light model, the least expensive, a little more real world, which goes around 6.5. Now clearly 1,000 euro. Now clearly we are in a high-end domain. Okay, this is the top of the line, because otherwise there's the PH-10, for example, which is very affordable and it has a lot of the technology here inside that at a more reduced budget. Absolutely, and as we said in the beginning, very famous, very performing. In any case, if we want to go at the verdicts of their production, this is the baby, and I think this is the model that has the better quality and expense balance. Instead, the power supply unit goes for 3.8 thousand euro. Okay, once again, just add a little more or less 1,000, and you have the price. Even though I do see, I went a little bit online, that the prices are much low. Actually, this is just the tag. Okay, the prices are much more lower, and there are sales. So hunt if you're interested. Now we can proceed to take a look at the babies, the physical characteristics, the main aspects, elements, features, and then we'll come back for my final analysis. Let's go. Okay guys, here we are, finally, the Goldnote PSU-1000, the power supply unit on the top, and below the PH-1000 light. Fantastic, beautiful black aluminum brushed finish. I like it a lot. Okay, so let's turn it on. Here we have the button. As you can hear, all these nice little relays are working. That is always a symptom of quality. You have to press down the button here, which is also a volume button, but just in a few cases, as we will see. This is going to be the central command, the control for all the different functions. As you can see, the machine is starting out. And there we are. I'll turn on the display and leave it on. Okay.
So let's see the different features, the physical features and the display features. So let's start with the power supply unit. As you can see, very simple. We have the power button here on the right and an absolute phase control button. Very, very interesting. On this other side, you can see we have the logo of goldnote, a beautiful logo, which is the battle horn of the Etruscan civilization, the cornu. That's their fantastic logo, which I deeply love, since, as you know, I am an archaeologist, so I appreciate these details. Okay, obviously you have the different LEDs to indicate the power or the standby. And here, something very nice, a headphone output. Yup, you can listen directly to your records from the phono preamp. Okay, let's go over the different features. Let's take a look at the display. Remember that this display does not in any way change the sound of the preamplifier. There's no interference. It's completely decoupled. Fantastic. And if you want, if it's disturbing you, you can just actually dim it if you want by 50% or even 25% or even completely turn it off. This is 25, or you can turn it off. Okay, let's turn it back on. So let's start here. Clearly you can select MC or MM, type of moving coil cartridges or moving magnet. The display, as we said, you can change the gain. I keep it at 0, but if you have a low output, you can change this as well. Very nice. And obviously, this is the cool part. You can completely customize the load of your cartridge with a good number of features, and also for the moving magnet, the capacitance. Very nice. You can select if you want the rumble filter off or on. I think it's always a filter, so I don't like filters. I keep it off, but sometimes you may have some problems. That's a good feature. And clearly one of the main features, I would say, of this preamplifier, the equalization settings. Wow. Clearly you have the RIAA, the RIA, as we say here in Italy, or, let's see, capital, Columbia LP, NAB, wow, AES, London LP, going too quickly, DGG Teldec, ICN 78, RCA 45, old RCA, Telefunken, CCIR for 78s, once again, old Orthophon, Philips, 500 flat, American 78s, FFRR 78s, Bloomline 300, and back to RIAA. Wow, guys, wow. I used to have a Reco Cut little analog thing. Clearly, this is not a digital equalization taking place. It's all analog, clearly. But having this at the tips of your fingers, you can play 78s with so much ease this way. And any type of LP that you want to try to explore, the old LPs and 78s, with this baby, you can. And I love this a lot. Okay, let's leave it on the standard. Here you can select if you want to mute it. Here you have the enhancement feature, which expands the frequency range, which I do think is good. I tested it clearly off and on, and I think it's clearly better when it's on. Then you can select if you want it reversed, left, right, or if you want it mono, another essential feature, I would say, if you like and you should play mono records. Okay, let's put it back to stereo, and clearly the inputs. Balanced and unbalanced. You, as we're going to see after behind, you have different type of inputs. Now, if you insert a pair of headphones, this happens. It becomes almost like a little preamp, because in fact you can change the volume. Not only, you can change also the gain, low, mute clearly, or high, and it's a good headphone amplifier. Very cool. Oh, and guys, I forgot to mention, there's also an excellent remote control coming with the phono preamp. So you can control all the main features from the couch. Oh yeah! And that's it. Let's take a look behind. And here we go with the rear. Now let's start from the power supply. As you can see, you have a master switch, which I like a lot. Sometimes you need to completely turn off everything, not just in front or not just behind. So that's a big plus. As you can see, clearly this needs its own power, which can go from 100 to 240, either type of voltage. But there's also a speak-on connector, high quality, high power connection. And in fact, the power supply unit comes with a nice, juicy, fat cable. So you're already set in that case, okay? Then, as you can see here below, we have all the different connections. Let's start from over here. As you can see, high quality connectors, I love them a lot, with two independent grounding, two inputs, so you can connect two type of turntables, and from the switch on the front you can select the input and clearly the type of cartridge. That is so easy, fantastic. Plus also a balance input, so if you have a balance connection with an MC cartridge, you can connect it directly in that way. And that should be the best of the best if you have that type of connection, which you can do actually on any type of MC cartridge. You just have to work on the cable. But apart from that, you have clearly the outputs, which are unbalanced, and also an XLR balance output. Gold contacts, very nice, high quality, you can see that. You can also connect it to a tube box they do, that goldnote does. They wanted to give it to me, but this already two set box was more than enough actually. But you can add the third box to practically add a tube output, in order to have all the different harmonic distortion, that warmth, that tube warmth that a lot of people want. If you add that, it should give you that oomph, that plus there. Here, I'm sure this is something for servicing. The speak-on connector, again, you have a master switch, and if you want, and the normal power inlet. And that's it.
Okay, so I listened to this baby for a month, even more, and clearly I had to do a strong comparison with my reference, my Audio Flight FL phono. If you don't know what that is, I did a video. Here is a link. You're also going to find it here below. So that's going to be the main comparison, I would say. There are also other tube types along my history, but it would be fair. The Audio is a good comparison, I think, even at the price point, because the Audio is very similar to the PH-1000 Lite. Okay, the Audio is slightly more, just a little bit, but it's old. I mean, the Audio is old. You're not going to find it anymore practically. So it depends. It's kind of difficult to make a comparison based on the price. In any case, top quality both. And I must admit that the PH-1000 on its own is slightly worse, I want to say this right from the start, than the Audio. I think that the Audio is slightly better. But I must admit that when you use the power supply unit, oh baby, things change a lot. This wins hands down. Unfortunately, that's it. That is the truth. So, and there's also another model, another power supply unit, even a better one, the 1250 if I don't go wrong. In any case, there's an even superior model if you want. So what struck me is that this sound, compared to the Audio, was just more rich. It was more detailed. I just had a sense of refinement that I did not find in the Audio. So that is surely a base, I would like to say. Also, the timbre was very convincing. Instruments sounded as they should, and that's a big compliment. So once again, an excellent result here, especially if you're using the power supply unit. Maybe the audio is a little more open. That's what I've found from that point of view. But overall, when they're combined, top notch. So I want to go through very quickly the pros and cons. Let's start from the cons. I wrote them here. First con, I don't know why, maybe it's my unit, but when connected to the power supply, strangely, there was a little more noise, okay, when not playing music. Instead, the standalone unit, the PH-1000 light without anything, just on its own, it was more silent. So that's very strange. I mean, this should really kill any interference. Once again, maybe I had some problems here. I don't know. But that's the result, and I want to communicate that. Second con, expensive. These babies are expensive. In any case, as I said, the price is going down. Third, the design. This is more a personal opinion, probably. I'm not that thrilled by this huge black. I forgot to say, it comes in gold also and silver, so you have a choice there. In any case, it's more the shape. My criticism goes to that. It's very basic, very simple. Maybe somebody would like that. I like a little more, I don't know, something interesting going on, a little bit more elements of design. In any case, with this gold little metal and the logo engraved on top, it has a few angles, a few cool, nice, nifty angles. So it depends. But overall, I would have done something a little more interesting that would catch the eye more. Like they are doing, for example, in the other things, like the turntables and things like that. And also another con is the dimensions / weight. Well, the weight, I guess, it's part of the game, but geez, I mean, just for the phono preamp, if you get both boxes, this is a lot of stuff, guys. This is a lot of space. So you really need rack space if you want to achieve this grade of performance. Okay, let's take now a look at the pros, what I really liked about this. Now, obviously, the first one is the sound. I mean, you have this full, luxurious, opulent, rich sound with all the full palette of all the instruments, the timbre, the microdynamics. Lush. I loved it a lot. Very, very nice. When they're combined, top notch. The second point, and this is probably why I think it's worth probably spending this money, is the features, guys. How you can customize every little aspect of your cartridges. That's almost unique. I mean, the amount of settings for the different types of cartridges, for the mono, for the headphone volume. I mean, all the different features quickly accessible with a touch of a knob. I mean, I just love that. It's so useful, so easy. You can experiment. This is one of the rare times that I could hear a clear difference with my cartridge, my MC cartridge, the Stratos, which I love, by changing the load. Finally understanding which is the perfect load for this, at least in this combination, which is 100 ohms instead of other recommended loads, at least once again with this machine. It comes out perfectly. It just, as soon as I selected 100, fantastic. So if you can do also these comparisons very quickly, you can easily find what works best. And clearly the equalization. I mean, if you're in 78s, this is something you really want to take a look at. Okay? Another feature I liked a lot is also the headphone output. Okay? That's another pro I have to mention, because you can also regulate the volume, the input sensitivity, as we said. Very, very useful. I mean, a lot of times you don't want to hook up everything and you just want to focus on the music with your headphones.
Impedance.
And this can deal with it.
Impedance.
With most type of headphones, I would say. So, excellent.
Impedance.
From there. Okay, guys.
Impedance.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave your comments here below, your questions on anything else. Thank you again for watching. And remember that music is born analog.
Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.